right. Hi, everyone. Welcome in. Welcome back if you've been with us before. Yes, you're seeing just me tonight. So Mike couldn't be with us tonight. He's resting and taking care of himself. And I pretty much told him he's not allowed on the show tonight because we need him to get better. So I will be here. I won't be by myself, but it will be me and not Mike. So let me introduce to you guys my co-host for the evening, Mr. Brian Schulman. Oh, I still have you muted. I could keep you muted the whole show.
No, I muted myself. Hello, Nancy Deborah.
Hello, Brian Schulman. Schulman Brian, how are you? Right, exactly. That's what I was thinking. So yes, the audio check went beautifully.
That's fabulous. There you go.
It worked perfectly.
Yes.
All right, so
yes.
Hi, everyone. I'm Nancy Barrows, and I'm one of the co-hosts of Connected Human Conversations. And you can find me here every Sunday night at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Usually here with Mike Paterano, but he's not here tonight. So stepping in and co-hosting with me tonight is Mr. Brian Schulman. Say hello, Mr. Brian Schulman.
Hello, Mr. Brian Schulman.
Perfect. He follows you very well.
I do my best.
You do your best. Okay, so before we jump into the show, I want to share something with everyone. It's something that Brian and I have been working really hard on, and it officially went live today. And so, do you want to share something with us, Mr. Schulman?
It did. Yes, I do. And here it comes.
No, say what happened. You were ready before. Ready, set, go!
There it is.
Yes,
It's the official launch of the Voice Your Vibe e-commerce website. Yes. Yes. So excited. The Positive Vibe Tribe has been asking for merchandise, for merch for a long time. And I'm beside myself excited about the launch. Huge love to Christian Amojela and the entire team at Nakoshi for doing such an incredible job. They've been working tirelessly with us to make this happen. And I'm so elated. I'm even more elated about the fact that literally minutes after we announced the launch, we had multiple customers buy products. So it's really exciting. You need to turn your volume down on
that. Well, because as LinkedIn likes to do to me, it's not really letting me comment so easily. So I did go to the phone.
Yes, just turn the volume on your phone. You're good, because I had to do the same thing. Yes. So we got T-shirts, we got sweatshirts for him and her. We have unisex baseball tees. We have, of course, the beanie, which has become a thing. Like, how funny is that? I was talking about this on the e-commerce summit that I was a featured speaker at today, where behind the scenes we were talking about the fact that because my hair is growing out with my man bun, I haven't cut my hair for a year due to the pandemic. I was wearing beanies all the time, and we decided to make a beanie, and there it is. This is your Voice Your Vibe beanie. And the cool thing about the beanie is you can actually wear it one of two ways. You can wear it this way, or you can wear it this way.
We're a little pretty happy about it. So we're just going to share this with you. We, of course, had an idea, as we often do, and had a ridiculously small window of time to get it together, because we did want it to launch at the e-commerce summit today. And so we've been working again around the clock, very little sleep, to have this be here and beautiful. So go check it out. Brian, do you have the QR code? Because you can go ahead.
I do have the QR code, and it's going to be up on your screen in just a second. If I can share it again. In fact, I've got an idea.
No, that never.
Yes, that never happens. Here is the idea. If you actually go to my LinkedIn channel, you will see it right now. If I can do this right. Okay, Nancy Deborah.
Oh, I'm on? My
You
job?
are. Yes, your job.
No, wait, I was commenting, but I'll add it to the stream.
Yes. Let's actually make this a little bit bigger so that way everyone can see it. So, breaking news, I have a brand new banner on my LinkedIn page. You're looking at it live for the first time, and right there in the center of the screen, and I should probably make this bigger so that way you can actually scan the QR code. Right there on my profile, you're going to see that QR code, and I'm going to actually test it real quick.
Watch me do it now.
That's it. So I literally just scanned the QR code. See at the top, it pulls up the browser, and then all of a sudden, bam!
There you are.
There it is. So super easy and really cool and exciting that this is all coming together and happening. So you can click on that. Just pull open your phone and open your camera and just literally hover over that QR code right there. And you will be able to get to the website very easily. Yes, just like that. So you can also go to my channel and it's right there. You'll find the QR code on all social platforms and the banners as well. So,
all right.
Yeah, super excited about it.
So go ahead and use that QR code. Not right now, because of course you're going to stay with us for the show.
Yes.
But take a few minutes to highlight that achievement for Brian Schulman. And it's a bit of an achievement for me because I was able to work very intimately with Brian and Christian to create this e-commerce store. So thank you.
Yeah, you're so welcome. And again, I'm so grateful to Nikoshi and Christian and the entire team that literally worked around the clock to make sure that we could get this launched today at Veronica Jean's Virtual E-Commerce Summit 2021, which I was speaking at. And that's where the big announcement happened. So really cool.
All right. So I'm going to take us into a bit of a more serious topic, as happens around here.
Yeah. Do we want to say hello to the people that are joining us?
We do want to say hello to people. You're absolutely right. See, I'm not used to doing all of this. So
that's okay. I see Robert Murray and Kenny D.
I didn't say I can't do it. I just said I'm not so used to it, Mr. Takeover.
And Tim is here. Look at that.
I see Robert and I see Katie J. I'm always glad to have you guys here. It's Robert's first time. So thank you for tuning in. There's a lot of people really interested in the merchandise. Yeah, maybe Katie J is going to get that beanie.
Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm. And apparently there's another beanie wanter sale here.
Robert. I know Robert does in Alaska.
He probably needs 4, in fact, to stay warm.
I know, right?
In order for this to really work. So thank you everyone for being here. Tim, straight off of his e-commerce summit this weekend. Thank you. I know you probably have very little energy and are running on fumes and coffee. So thank you for being here. Okay. And I will continue. Thank you for the reminder. I will continue to shout out to our audience and let them know how much we appreciate them for being here.
It's true. We do.
It is true. It is true. I try to send a little note to everyone. Okay. So what we were going to talk about tonight, the plan was for me to talk about brave independence. And so, yes, it usually gets a little bit more serious around here. So it's about that time. So, for me, the idea came up this past week. We had 2 early morning earthquakes here in Los Angeles, both of which were big enough to feel and wake me up. One was a 3.0 and one was a 4.0, and they were not very far from where I live. So definitely felt them. And, as I'm flinging off the blanket and sitting up in my bed and thinking, I've got to find 2 cats. I got to find 2 cats and get them in carriers. I got to find 2 cats, get them in carriers, get myself out of that. Right. It just, every thought went through me. And I thought, I'm zone. I'm not man on man. I'm zone. I'm alone here. How am I going to do this? And the idea that the people in my life who love me in this sort of emergency aren't coming to me. They're taking care of what's going on in their space and their people, husband, wife, kids, whatever is going on, their dog, their cats. And it sort of got me thinking to this sort of place of independence and, being bravely independent. And the more I thought about it and the more I did it, in my head was running it around, the more I realized that it's not about being partnered up or being alone, right? Independence is really something we all take on, even if we're partnered up. Even if we have a significant other, we like to do things for ourselves and by ourselves. We tend to do that even when there's someone there, muscle through something or know you can do it. And so what I realized is there's, the time that I'm living in, like that morning of the earthquake, it's really unbrave independence. Because to me, we can talk about what independence means and we can talk about what bravery means. But to me, the bravery in this case is saying, I need help. Right? I could use some support. I tell myself, I've done this a million times. I can do it again on my own. It's just fine. I can do this. But it's time to stop and ask the question, do I need to? Is that the best way to do it? Being that fiercely independent. And part of it being, fear. So I'm going to call it my unbrave independence. Or do I want to step into my brave independence in which I ask for support and help, in which I include people in my struggles, and I include people in what's going on for me and what's in my head, rather than put on my armor and say, I can do this myself. I've done it a million times by myself. I can do it again. So that was sort of what was bumping around my head. I don't know, Brian, if you want to give some initial thoughts on this, or I could keep going.
Yeah, no, it's true. And I kind of look at it the same way. I'm historically not great at asking for help, and I'm used to kind of chugging through whatever it is I need to get through alone, because that's what I'm used to doing, and I'm always better off for it. Looking ahead.
Are you?
And well, that's the thing, right? I think the result, if I think about the result that comes from it, yes, I am always better off. I think the question becomes, does it have to be this incredibly rocky, rugged, struggle through road? Or can it be a smooth road where you don't have to just climb over it, through it, around it, on it, but you can go for a ride in the car with someone else and get there faster. You can get on a bike with someone and get there faster or smoother, or I don't know. I mean, I think I'm just so used to struggling that part of me feels like I need to struggle to get to where I am going to wind up going. And I think the other part of it too is, we talk a lot about stories and the importance of sharing stories and how that can help and impact other people. And I think what I have personally found is that through those struggles in the journey, right, those stories and sharing those stories after the fact have helped others that are struggling. So it's kind of contradictory, right? It's kind of contradictory because it's like, I'm saying, so I need to struggle to help someone to understand that they don't need to, or to understand that it's okay to struggle and realize that you're not alone, because we all struggle, right? We all struggle in so many different ways. And I think that's the part of it, right? It's that relatability factor of, okay, hey, I've struggled. The varying degree of struggle, hey Russ, the varying degrees of struggle doesn't have to be so wide. But again, I'm so used to that. I've been struggling since I came into this world, literally. So I guess it's just, I don't know if I'd say it's something I'm comfortable with, but I've gotten comfortable being uncomfortable about it.
Right. And that's the question is, I think many of us know and do believe that the growth is in the struggle, right? But who's to say the struggle has to be one that leaves you with scars? You don't get any more credit for achieving whatever it is you were achieving or getting through whatever it was you were getting through because you're beat up, battered, and scarred, right? It doesn't happen that way. Could our story become, yes, there's growth in struggle. Absolutely not denying that. But could the story we tell become more of one that said, I was struggling and I knew there was a place of growth and I asked for help so I could get through it more easily?
Yeah. And I will say, like, I've gotten better at asking for help. And you know, how incredibly hard that is. Yeah, right. It's so hard to reach out for help, but other people want to help. That's a really good point, Robert, right? Because I've had many people actually share that with me, some dear friends close to me, and it's been one of those things where they say, no, it's actually not you, where they've said, you know, you help so many people every single day, and yet you don't, I don't know how to phrase this right, but it's not the way it's going to come out, but you don't give people the opportunity to do the same for you. You don't open up that window, that door. Again, historically, I've gotten better over the years, but for people to be able to do that for you. And the ending to that was you're kind of leaving your relationships half empty because you're not allowed, you know, it was that, do you have any idea if someone knew they could help you, how fulfilled they would be because of all that you do to help? And, right. it hit me, right? And I'm like, oh my God, I feel like such a horrible human being because you're totally right. Like I don't give people that opportunity, if you will, to do that. But yes, Robert, strength through adversity, right? And again, I've been dealing with adversity my whole life. So have you, Nancy. So I think, yes, maybe the lesson of strength that is supposed to be learned is to humble yourself and ask for help. For sure. There is strength in asking for help. Like that's the hardest thing, right?
Sorry, that's what I was going to say is that there's, you know, we talk about vulnerability, or I do, vulnerability being our biggest strength, right? And hi, Bill. To what you were saying, Brian, my comment was, I say this to people all the time, you know, when you don't allow people to help you, right? You deny people the opportunity to feel the joy that I like. If when I don't let people help me, I'm denying them the opportunity to feel the joy I feel that I experience when I help other people. So thinking about it that way, is it easier to accept help from people? I'm working on it. I've gotten much better, like you have. But again, the struggle, we've been struggling our whole lives doing it alone. Yes, we have. But what keeps us from asking for help now? Like what holds us back, right? I have great people in my life that would want to be there for me, that would help me in the ways they could. Why do I wear my ability to tough it out like a badge of honor? That's the question. One of the questions, right? I continually ask myself, what am I getting out of doing it this way? Because my thing is, if you want to make a change and it's not happening, there's a reason for it, because you're still getting something out of doing it, quote unquote, the old way, right? So well, I must still be getting
I think it's a combination, right? I think it's a combination of that whole badge of honor. I think it's also you don't want to look weak.
But I know vulnerability is strength.
It is, but not everybody knows that, right? Not everybody looks at it that way.
Right.
I realize over the last number of years that it is, mm-hmm. right? But I think we're naturally all, fearful isn't the word. We just have that thing inside of us that goes, you know, that's not a strength. That's not a power. That's not a you know, something that it's just being truly one with yourself, right? I mean, again, like asking for help is a strength. It's not a weakness. But I think that that's something that, you know, I can certainly tell you, you know, for many entrepreneurs that I know, fellow entrepreneurs, it's like some truly get it, some don't. And they look at it and go, no, I have to do this and I have to struggle. And then, you know, getting through that. But, you know, again, we get to the goal line faster together. Right.
You're about connection. I'm about connection. But, you know, one of your main messages is, you know, this true, authentic connection, which is important to me as well. And the people who are here, they're here because they feel a connection, right? We don't show up and spend our Sunday evenings with someone listening to them talk about something that, you know, may or may not be true for us if we don't feel some sort of connection. But you said something earlier that I think is really important, where when you're not willing to drop into vulnerability and asking for help and allowing that reciprocation, you are limiting your relationships. You are limiting the depth of your relationships. You're limiting the you're limiting the other person. And I can say this from my marriage. The experience I have from my marriage is if there was going to be emotional intimacy, it was because I was vulnerable. And it becomes harder and harder to be vulnerable with someone who's invincible, perfect, and never has a minute of doubt or weakness, right? So unless we're willing to be vulnerable with one another and show all of the sides and allow the people in our life to reciprocate, I don't know how you form really true, deep, lasting relationships.
No, absolutely. And Kelly said something that's great, right? Vulnerability is a strength, but we are conditioned to wear the mask that we have to have everything under control. And the reality is no, you don't. We're human. Like, nobody ever has everything under control. You can't control everything that's happening. All you control is how you react to things. So the
question is then, how do we start to uncondition ourselves? Right? Because
I think it's something we talked about already, which is knowing that asking for help is a strength. It's not a weakness. Right. And understanding that.
You understand that. I understand that.
Yeah, but it took me a long time to understand that.
Right. But I still am not great at asking for help.
And I'm not either. But I've gotten better. Like, that's the thing, right? Is I think if you're cognizant of it, if you're cognizant, you're aware, then you're able to catch that, right? You're able to go, wait, do I really need to do that alone? Or can I ask this person or these people to help, right? Because again, I think the other thing with asking for help is, you don't want to feel like you're burdening someone.
Right.
Right. Like, I went through that. Like, that was the other side of it, is that I didn't want someone, no matter how much I give, I still didn't want someone else to, in my mind, that's the way I was thinking about it, was I didn't want someone to feel like I was burdening them because I was asking for something.
But
right?
Let's think about what we're asking for, right? When we think we're asking for something, what are we asking for, right? In lots of cases, it's a conversation, right? Talk this through with me. Yeah, Kelly is brilliant.
Yeah, no, that's it right there. And that was actually, you said it perfectly. That was that conversation I was referring to earlier, was you need to, it's that receiving, right? Give the other person the gift of being able to give and the gift of receiving.
Right. And
that's
so
exactly it.
I know how I feel when I help other people. When I don't make space or allow for others to help me, like I said earlier, I'm denying other people that joy, right? How selfish of me, how egotistical for me to be like, no, you don't get this, right? You don't get to feel good about yourself by helping me. So I think that's also helpful when we realize that asking for help isn't just about us, that it does help the people around us. It does deepen our relationships. And again, what kind of help are we talking about? Sometimes it's a conversation to talk something through. Sometimes it's a tangible item. Sometimes it's an accountability check. And, when you start to look at what you're asking for, is it such a big ask? Or is it the fear that once you say it, someone knows? Someone knows.
Well, that's the thing. Is like, I know, like, it is always a much bigger deal to us than it is to the other person. Right. And unless you put it out there, you're not going to know. And what's the worst thing that happens? You find out, you do not want to deny. Would you go rest, please?
No. You were not invited.
Not allowed to be here.
You're not invited for a reason.
But here's the thing, guys, right? Like, I have keys to the kingdom, so I can do what I want.
But, I know. I could
I'm happy
to keep you out, but you're just going to keep coming back.
We could kill the show if you want.
Real quick. Here's the thing. I'm only going to stay for 5 or 10 minutes because you're right. I'm not back to 150% yet, and I'm not at full steam.
No, you're not. You're not at half steam. So let's be real.
Yeah, but I was about 6% last week, so this is a big improvement. That might have been a high based on how I felt, to be honest. So. But I
told you he was going to do this.
Yeah, yes. But there's something.
I knew it as well, but I could keep kicking him out, but he's just going to keep coming back in.
I will just keep coming back.
Yes, come on, talk to us from the log house.
So what I want to say is, Brian, I am so proud of you, my man. Like, you are my little big brother, and I love you dearly. And I have never seen you sit through a conversation like this on live. And I love you. You are just so huge of a human being in this world, and I appreciate you so much.
I love you too, buddy.
And man, you are family for life. Your soul family. I love you, and I always worry about your kitty cats. Anyway, so you're my partner in crime in so many ways. But here's my perspective on it. For me, when I wouldn't accept help, is because I didn't think I was worth receiving it. Right? I didn't have the personal value or the personal worth to believe that I was worth receiving help. And that was big for me, right? That was a key component to why I never wanted to ask. And it was why I always was trying to help others, because I wanted to always be the helper. So I found a value externally, because it would build me up for a little while. You know, at the end of the day, without the internal work, it all wears off very quickly. And, you know, this is a very important conversation, and people really need to listen to these two, because they have an unbelievable amount of experience with it. And I love them and respect them dearly. So I had to crash. I just had to. I did ask him. I went,
maybe there was a reason.
Maybe there was, but that's okay. Anyway, I'm not staying long, but the reality is I had to jump in because you two are worth it. This conversation is worth it. My perspective will give additional perspective. I'm as vulnerable as they come because I have no shame anymore. That's a big part of it. The blame, shames, and guilts that we put upon ourselves our whole lives tear us down. And that's a really big part of why we hold ourselves back from giving others the opportunity to help us. You know, and
you make a good point. Like my issue is not worth, right? But yours is. So it's different reasons we find it hard to receive help or ask for help. Sometimes you're not even asking and people are helping, and it's still hard to receive.
Well, I think then there's the other thing, which is giving people the opportunity to help, right? So there's a difference between I need help with something and I need to ask for that versus giving someone the opportunity to help you when it's there, but you just need to kind of open that window, so to speak.
For me, it's hard if I'm not directly asked these days, right? Like I'm at a point now where I've done so much work over the last year that I now know my value personally, not my value versus anyone else, right? This isn't a competition. This is a me thing.
Yeah.
This is a selfish thing. I now know what I'm worth. I know what I bring to the table for people. I know that how I help people and how I inspire them and lift them up on a daily basis in my own way, right?
Yeah.
And
you have 2 minutes, by the way. Just
I know. Just time me. It's okay.
It's okay. I can kick him out of the stream. Not that.
No, I know. You can come back.
I know. And
in a minute and a half, I will.
I'm really not staying long. I just wanted to drop in because you guys are worth it to me, and I love you guys.
We love you too, man.
We love you too, which is why we want you to go. It's confusing.
I'm going to ask you to help me, which is I really need you to rest, because if you're not resting, you can't help me the way I need you to. You can't help Nancy the way she needs you to, and you can't help all the other people that you want to help, because you and I have the same brain in that respect. We want to help everybody, and we'll do whatever we can and however much we can to make that happen, because that's what makes us feel good, is helping other people. So, but you have to be in a good place mentally and physically, my friend, to be able to do that. And I need you to be there soon. So would you please take care of yourself?
I am. My whole schedule is weird. I mean, I've literally just resting. It's kind of crazy, and I don't know what to do with myself, but that's okay.
You ready to say goodbye?
Yes, I am.
Say goodbye.
Love you, buddy. That was good.
That was good.
He pretty quick on the timing there, by the way, too. Thank you. Yeah. But that's I brought that up because it's like giving. It was on the long lines of what Kelly was saying, right? Give people that opportunity, right? Give yourself the opportunity to receive, right? And give others the opportunity to give, because the reality is, like, and, Nancy, we talked about this. I mean, you and I have spent many sleepless nights now making this e-commerce launch happen, literally. And I have said to you multiple times, if this is too much, I want you to step back, because I don't want to be the cause to your, downturn, lack of sleep, just all of the, and we all deal with that kind of stuff. But again, cognizant of that, right? And it's a good example of, you wanting to help me, asking and or present Reggie, asking or dude, we miss you.
Yes,
you need to grow your hair out though, bro. Seriously, it's too short. But I love you. You're just.
We were talking that we need to get the four of us on a video chat real soon with Raquel and you and I. It's been too long.
Yes, we need to insta video chat soon, buddy. So love you. Kiss COVID for us. The Dot's his dog, by the way, Walter. It's his nickname. Don't ask. So that. Again, that what we talk about in real life example, which, I always love doing, is that cognizance, that awareness of, okay, hey, yeah. But at the same time, you're as excited as I am about all of it, right? And that's that thing, right? Is like, open up the window of opportunity, allow others to receive, to give, so you receive, but you're both receiving, right? That's the part I think most people don't think about, is when you ask for help or you create a window of opportunity to get help, right? There's equal, if not sometimes even more, wow, right?
What if we change the word? Maybe it's help that's the problem. Maybe it's maybe.
Yeah, I think it's the words.
Let someone partner with us. Let someone.
Yeah, sure. Like, and this reminds me of one of the episodes of the Island of Misfit Toys, where you guys were it was, or maybe it wasn't. It was a different show. I can't keep track of the shows, but it was one of the shows that I jumped into, and it was that whole, because D-Roo was in there, and he's like, light bulb went off, and in the comments for him when you were talking about these things, and it was just a shift in words. And it was a shift then in perspective. And you completely think about things in a whole nother way, where you're like, wait, this means something totally different to me now. And I can consume that differently. And now I can take steps differently because of it.
And what just sort of hit me was, when I work with kids, don't. When I work with kids, yes. I do this all the time, in the sense that I don't ask the kiddos I work with if they want help. 99% of the time, they will say no. They don't want help.
But what is it you say?
I will say something like, hey, would it be okay if we did this together? Or would you show me? Show me what you're doing. Show me how you're doing it.
Yeah, you do that with me. We didn't, and you don't know it, but that's happened over the last however many, days or however we're working with Christian and everyone. But yeah, and it's just naturally part of the words, speech pathologist over here, the words that you use matter.
And I'm intentional with words. I try to be intentional with my words.
It is.
So
it's like Kelly said.
It's allowing someone to share the journey, allowing, I'm not asking for help. I'm opening the door for someone to share the journey with me. I'm opening the door to have a partner. I'm opening the door to learning from someone else. But help seems to be this word that stops us all in our tracks. I mean, I shouldn't say all. There's lots of people who are good at it, but for a lot of us, it stops us dead in our tracks, and we won't reach out for help. But would I reach out to learn something from someone else? Yes. Would I reach out to collaborate, partner with? Yes.
Yeah, see, and that's a really interesting choice of words too, because I'm known for collaboration, and that in my mind, right? Collaboration is collaboration is the coming together of people to create something amazing, right? I always say incredible things happen when
we come together.
That's right. Right.
I'm programmed.
Right. And I will I'll reach out to anyone, when it comes to that stuff. Or as Mike would do, Mike would reach out to anyone to help someone else, is just like I do. right? But again, in your mind, if it's no, I am reaching out to help me,
right?
Well, that's a whole, right? Like in your mind, that's a whole nother. It's not though. Like it doesn't.
But it's not. Yeah, I was just thinking about what you did with the LinkedIn lip sync battle, right? You wanted a custom jingle. That was what was in your head, was the vision of this custom jingle. And you reached out to 3 amazing people, right? We had D Money, Rachel, drunk. I'm going to say Drunken Miller, but it's not
Drunken Miller.
Drunken Miller.
And Joe Perry.
And Daryl Perry, right?
Yeah.
And the entire time, because I worked on this with you, yes, you had something in mind, a vision you were trying to achieve, but what your attitude about it the whole time was, you're giving opportunity to put the spotlight on them.
Yeah, and that's it, right? Like again, it's the mind shift, if you will, right? None of this has to do with me. It's all about, okay, how can I shine my light on these 3 amazing people? And creating this jingle didn't have anything to do with me, because the show isn't about me. It's about you, and it's about bringing all of us together to have some funness and creating another layer of that, right? So again, great examples of how, while it's my show, it's not my show, it's your show, right? And that's the thing, is it's the psychological aspect of it that, can do a mind number on you. But if you flip the script in your head, like for me, if I flip the script that way in my own head and go, oh, okay, hey, I, am going to launch this e-commerce website, and Nancy Deborah is going to help me in collaboration in terms of, so I don't have to think about all this stuff on myself, and I have someone to bounce ideas off of and creative ways to think about doing different things and visually and wording, like all those things, right? 2 heads are better than one, and you're getting as much joy out of it as I am. And it's this like, birthing of a baby, so to speak, right? So then that's the thing, right? It's like whatever that it is, I think it's for that other person, it's going, whoever is that it's helping you, right? Or that you reached out to or open the opportunity to give, to receive, right? There is an equal plane of feeling that happens between both, to say, I'm so happy. You do it all the time. I'm so happy that I could help this person, right? Like just knowing that I was able to help you makes me so happy, right? And you get just as much joy out of it as the person is that needed help with something, or maybe didn't, and yet you were able to.
And the truth is, we receive more than we ever give. Even when we're giving, we always receive more. And it's not a selfish thing. It's just the way it works, right? So to keep that in mind, I have a couple of things. And we have time, but I want you to think about, like, what is the emotion that comes up for you when thinking about asking for help? Where's one place this week, and everybody out there, where's one place this week that you can bravely reach out for help? And I want to go back to something that you were saying earlier.
That's it, Kelly. That's it.
Yes. Join me. Exactly. That you were saying earlier, and now I might have lost my thought. You're used to this.
Sorry, it's because I interrupted you.
I should be used to that.
That's okay. You can think about it. I'm trying to remember what you just asked. So
I asked to sort of sit with and figure out, what is the feeling?
The feeling. Yes.
Yeah. So take that.
Anxiety.
Okay. What's
that? Failure.
Okay.
Hey, Nancy, I need your help with something. Sorry, I don't have time for that. Okay.
Okay.
Right. Rejection. Right. There you go. Although I don't know if it's.
For me, there is a bit that's the fear that I will ask the people I think will be there for me, and they won't. And then, when I think you'll be there for me, everything's great.
Well, and then that feeling, like, right. What about the spawn off feeling from that, right? Because now you have this predisposition in your head where you go, I think Nancy would be the perfect person to help me, and I think she'd say yes. And I ask Nancy, hey, Nancy, however you intentionally phrase it, I could use some help, and I thought you'd be a great person to be able to help me. Well, how much time is that going to take? This, that, and whatever. I've got a lot of going on. I'm busy this, that. Unfortunately, I am too busy to be able to help. I'm sorry, I can't. You walk away and you go, well, I'm not going to go ask Nancy for help again. Yeah, I don't want to go ask Nancy because now I feel bad. Now it's like, oh, there you go. And I think that's also part of what can happen, right?
Evidence and
If we all
reinforcement.
think about that, the times we've asked someone for help and what Nancy was describing happens, you have that Pavlov effect going on where you're like, no, because this has happened once, twice, 3, 5 times, I don't want to ask for help, right?
Well, we were saying collaboration, join me.
Yeah. Okay. So even that, like, because again, I've done many collaborations. So people said I'm gonna have to pass this time, whatever. And initially where I may be upset or sad or whatever, I'm like, hey, no worries, all good. We'll catch you on the flip side. But I think there's that, that thing where you want to. I think it's just knowing that, hey, if somebody says no, that's okay. And that doesn't mean that person isn't going to say yes in the future. But grappling with that, I think sometimes, let's see what Kelly's saying. If we're all mirrors, then does your fear of someone not being there for you come from the guilt you have when you aren't able to be there for others, or is it fear of rejection?
Not for the first part is not true for me. It's not guilt of not being there for others, because that's not.
Yeah, I don't have that. That's not for me either, because I'm there for
not for me.
So.
Right, exactly. It's not because I help everyone, but and this fear of rejection, again, I think it's more. There's this little piece in my brain, this little seed that doubts if the people I think will be there for me will actually be there for me. So like in my head, if I don't test it out, those people will be there for me.
Yeah, but I want to.
And
sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
No, it's okay. If I ask, then I know the answer, and it may not be the answer I want. And I remember what I was going to say earlier. I'm just going to say it out loud. We'll continue with this, and then both of us will try and remember it later. You were talking about me doing too much and being burnt out, and yeah,
like Mike Panorano, yeah,
like Mike Panorano,
and Gabe, and others,
others who have been there. Yes, I know, I'm aware, and I know your concern is truly from a place of your heart and concern for me. But I'll share a little bit of what I said to you is like right now, that being busy is good for me. Right. I'm sort of, I'm not, my mood has been fucking with me. And so the time that I'm not doing things that make me feel good is time that I get into my head and I struggle more. And I know I need that downtime because that's how I get my mood back on track. Yeah. But it is definitely serving a purpose for me to give me smaller doses of downtime to start to process it.
No, it makes total sense. Rob, bring up Robert's comment because that's actually really important. He says he struggles with saying no more than he does with receiving no. I totally get that.
I do too.
Because I say yes a lot. I do say no as well because I've gotten better at it. This was something that Kristen Sherry had shared before, just about that. It may have been on Reggie's show, actually, about saying no and knowing that you can say no and that's it. And there is an extreme level of confidence when you do that, and when you're okay with that, right? You don't have to give an explanation. I have issues with that. But there's many different ways, by the way, to say no.
Well, like earlier, when someone says you don't have time, right? You tell me you don't have time, you're swamped. I get it. It's hard to feel like you're rejecting me or my bid to join me. But yes, boundaries. I'm going to get you right back to that, Brian. Boundaries, and that's something that's hard for me. And I did it 2 weeks ago, was it, or a week ago? I didn't go to San Diego to see Raquel and Courtney because I knew, right, what I needed was to sit still and take some time and process what I was going through and get myself straightened out a bit. And so the way saying no is harder for me, I agree. But what I realize is when other people say no in a way that respects their boundaries and they let me know that's exactly what they're doing, I always feel like they're kick-ass. And usually when someone says that to me, I respond, whether it be a text or we're talking with, I love how you're holding your boundaries here.
Totally. Yeah, no, we've had plenty of people we've reached out to you about joining the show or whatever. We'll tag them in the comments and they'll say that, So busy in studies, whatever. And so I'm like, so respect you for that. You're there in spirit, and we know we'll see you in the future. Like, so happy that you are focused on what's, really love. Yes, just like that. Love.
You get one. Tim. You get one.
Yes, and then Tim was saying, "Why, Mike Paterano, have you changed?" Well, I would rub my head, but I have hair, and I could do this. This is the Mike Paterano. He does this thing, and then his hand up here rubbing his dome like he's going to make a wish. And when you're essentially concerned or someone else's feelings or sense of well-being, many times I won't ask for help because I know that person will say yes, even if I can't, and even if it hurts. And so it would be against initiative. Can you explain that to me? I'm not sure I get it.
Yeah. You may need to clarify, but what I think here, so let me read again. Essentially concerns someone else's feeling, sense of well-being. So for people like Brian and I who say yes, you are hesitant to ask, it sounds like, because you're concerned about our well-being and our feelings. I
respect that. Like I was talking to Nancy about this earlier. You can
share, you know me, you can share certain aspects of our conversation if you want to.
Well, actually, I was going to talk about my side, which I was saying to you, which was I have all these speaking engagements that are literally back to back to back to back. Hey, Bernard. And like, I say yes to all of them because they're great opportunities. And I didn't want to miss the opportunity, right? I've also said no to many. Because again, there's only so much I can manage from my own well-being, right? With everything else that's going on. And so I think it's Robert's using voice text because it's freezing where he is, apparently, obviously, in Alaska. So I think again, it's I totally get your perspective. I'll give you another example, right? Many of you know I was on this like fierce power walking over the last year during the pandemic. And Nancy actually called me out and she's like, okay, like you don't have to do 8 miles and 200 push-ups every day you go out. You can just do a couple miles and whatever. And I wasn't receiving that well initially, was just keeping to doing my thing, but my body was continuously like hurting. I mean, I was best shape I've been in, but my body is just continuously kind of hurting. And so I slowed my roll off of it, realizing that was going to be better for me. I did actually realize that it was a coping mechanism for myself because it was a way for me to deal with everything that's going on. I didn't realize it at the time. At the time, I was looking at it going, okay, well, this is good for me, but then I'm pushing myself. And how much can I truly push myself? How far can I, I think we're always testing our limits. How far can I go for the good,
That's that thing of like, if I get through this with broken bones and bruises and scars, right, then I've worked harder.
But you're alive. Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
Much harder for it. Look what I can do. But you don't really get any more credit at the end for doing it.
No, for sure. And it wasn't about credit, right? It wasn't about anything.
It's in our own head, like pushing yourself, right? You're pushing yourself further. That's what I mean for getting credit. It's no more of a success if you come out of it bruised and scarred.
Yeah, no, agreed. And again, I think we all look to see how far we can, what things we don't think we can do that we can, like like that. Yeah, Bernard, the scars tell a story. No doubt, right? Like we all have scars. And that's what I was saying earlier, right? Like in my mind, everything that I've ever gone through, be it personal or business, because I've failed and fallen so much, and yet I've succeeded because of the actual journey. Those stories from the journey that are shared that impact, inspire, and help other people to help know that they can get through them too, is for me part of the reason why when it happens, I go, this is supposed to be happening so that, like, I look at the last year, which honestly has been a total shitstorm for me. And yet I've had so many successful moments because I've pushed through all of them and I'm still here. And I have learned and grown so much from them. and it's elevated me in different ways of growth. People will put themselves in harm's way to help another person, and even in a greater sense than if it was for their own benefit. Well, sure, yeah. I mean, I'd jump in front of a bullet for so many people. Like I'd stand on the train tracks for, my LinkedIn fam. Why? Because we care. Like you.
And continue what you were saying, and this is sort of going back to when we started. Is that what I was saying, Bernard? Is okay. So we accept, and we know that the growth comes from the struggle, but can we allow others to partner with us, collaborate with us, share the journey with us? We're still going to struggle. So the growth can still be there, but we can accept support, or, so yes, the story, the scars tell a story, but the same story maybe doesn't need as many scars.
No, it's totally true. Like Tim and I teaming up, right, for the shows. Tim's my producer and like has the biggest heart in the world. And it all started from hey, if I can help you in any way, let me know. I said, actually, I will take you up on that. Yeah, I could use your help. I'm shifting producers. So it would be amazing to have your help. Who knew it would turn into a year of us partnering together, right, Tim? But that's the beauty about incredible things happening when we come together. You just never know what's going to happen. And what you may think is a burden winds up becoming this really beautiful partnership. So, yeah.
It says something to when we're able to offering help, because accepting an offer is definitely a different dynamic than
asking just straight out. Like,
right.
No, it's true.
I'm pretty good at this, and maybe I'm wrong. And Brian, you spend plenty of time with me that you could call me, but I tend to ask people when I see them struggling, like, is there anything I can do to support you? Is
Absolutely.
there anything that would feel good right now for me to,
Yeah. Or if you're having a conversation with someone and you feel like they've got, how can I help? Right. Like, really, powerful words. I mean, the other thing too, just on the topic, like, my mindset is always of that where I don't want to burden someone with my problems, my issues, my challenges, right? Think about just conversations. And I think that's a level of, again, there's comfort and confidence in having those conversations and just knowing you're having a conversation, right? But I do think, and especially, like in a pandemic, right? It's like everyone has so many things going on, Tim. Everyone has so many things going on that you're like, well, I don't want to put my burden on them. They've got so much that they're dealing with anyway. However, here's the flip side to that, right? Yes, shout out to the contradictions.
Yeah, it's just the way life goes.
Yeah. I'm just talking to myself out loud. Nancy may have all sorts of stuff going on. However, if she, and I can relate to this, if she has something that she sees she can help me with, then she's out of her own head and doing what she loves, which is helping someone else, which in turn helps her.
Right. Having that positive, right? That something that feels good is part of, getting out of where I'm at, and certainly getting out of my head. Continue. I'm sorry, Brian.
No. I think it's just, as I'm like my shows, they're all about all of you. Tim and I can both attest to this, where, I'll, again, just as an example, like, I'll it was one Saturday morning where I just said to him, this pandemic's kicking my butt. Like, I just do not have the energy that I usually come with, and I need you to carry me. And he's like, I got you. And we've had both of that happen on the flip side. Right. And, and then we'll come out of it going, we feel so much better. Can you get extra
Yes, you
credit?
Can have extra credit, Tim. You can have another gold star.
Yes, 4 gold stars for Tim. Yeah, so yes, that's it. Your burden may, Kelly, you were so wise. Your burden might be an opportunity for someone, not a burden. But that's what I'm saying is we we look at it so significantly different in our own minds and our perception and the way it's going to play out versus the way it usually does. And it does wind up being our burden winds up being an opportunity. I can think of many situations just over the last week where Nancy and I were talking that I was looking at it as a burden or holding on to something. And Nancy looked and said, how can I help? And it was gone. That was it. It was like literally what was weighing down on me was immediately lifted. And I'm talking about in like a matter of 60 seconds because she was able to help me with something that was heavy on my shoulders. And I looked at potentially as a burden. And in Nancy's eyes, it was, well, hey, I can help. Let me do that. And you felt better because of it. And I felt better because it was gone. And,
yes.
Yeah.
Well, that was the thing is I could say to you, Brian, I can do this. Like, I've got the timer. This is easy. I can do, and sometimes it meant me just taking something and doing it. But it also meant, again, like, hey, you don't have to do this alone. Like, I'm here. I want to be here. I'm here for a reason. And you're right, that immediate feeling that I could visibly and knowingly relieve some of that burden for you.
Oh, sure. And I can so relate to that because I'm the same exact way, right? It's easy when we're looking at others and want to help. Like Mike Paterano, he's a great example. I mean, I've done that for him. He's done that for me, right? When we're looking at someone else, it's much easier for us to look out of our eyes at someone else and go, I love you too, buddy. And go, oh, I want to help you because I'd love to help you. Right. And same thing the other way. But when it's flipped back at us, right, when it's faced in the opposite direction and pointing at us, we think about it in such a different way.
Because we're the ones that are in the vulnerable place.
Exactly, right.
So it's amplified, it's magnified. I'm looking at the time, and I guess I'm going to ask, like, so what have we learned? Like, what's the insight? And
I think what we've learned is Kelly Bryant needs to be the next guest on this show.
Yeah,
for sure. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, look, I think Tim wants to know if we can dance now.
We can dance.
Yes, let's do the Tim. So Tim, by the way, like you should make sure that you get all the little clips from people that do the Tim on shows and create a reel of the Tim. Yes.
Are you ready to screenshot, Tim? Ready?
We're doing the Tim. Hit your record button on your phone, buddy. Yeah, no, look, I mean, the incredible things happen when we come together, right? I mean, we are. I always say, like, there's always so many amazing conversations that happen that are not live. Right. If you just hit live, like, you wind up collaborating and coming together with so many people where light bulbs go off, and people wind up questioning themselves less than they did before because they're hearing it come out of others' mouths, right. and getting affirmation. Yeah, right. Exactly.
And I think for me, it's that, switching the narrative, that it can be an opportunity for someone. My burden may not feel burdensome to someone else. Easy for me.
Tim. Shout out to your oneness, Tim. Bernard's rocking it. Yeah.
So, okay, I'm going to try one more time. I'm like Veronica. I'm getting distracted by the comments.
Yeah. Squirrel. Yeah.
Squirrel.
Hello.
Squirrel.
Yes.
Yes.
Deep
this
Thoughts
idea,
by Nancy and Brian. Thank you.
This idea that I'm assuming it's a burden, which again is my ego, that my thing is so big and so important and so heavy. And the giving people the opportunity to do something that I love to do. Those are two good take homes for me.
No, they really are. Like, I look at the launch of this ecom website. I mean, I could never have done it by myself. And, what a great example of, again, just moments of where I feel like there's so much. Yes, that's it. Wink, wink. You know,
in helping you, I got to feel good about it, but I'm also learning a ton. So
yeah,
there's all
absolutely.
sorts of pieces to it. All right.
Yes.
So it's time for us to say goodnight.
Yes. Don't forget to pick up your fortune cookie on the way out. And,
yes. Don't forget to use that QR code and visit. Go ahead
yes,
and
the QR code.
e-commerce site for Voice Your Vibe. Be careful. Caution. You may end up buying everything because I have a very full cart right now.
Yeah. Hey, super cool though. I did mention it earlier. I don't think Tim was on, but I announced the launch of Voice Your Vibe e-commerce website today because everyone's been asking for merch, and we already have 3 sales. Like, it happened immediately when it was launched. So really, really cool. But yes, get your positive vibe gear and wear it proud and take pictures with it. Share it with us.
So
Be
thank
safe.
you to everyone who was with us tonight, sharing your thoughts, sharing your wisdom with us. It's amazing. That's why we do these. This is why these conversations create some aha moments, and for us, but hopefully I know for people out there who are watching. And
shout out to Nancy, who's an incredible host, by the way. I just want to say I'm really proud of you. I'm really proud of you because I mean, come on. Nancy's been on LinkedIn for like 4 months, you guys. She's been on for 4 months. She helps me twice a week with my shows in so many different ways. She co-hosts 2 shows, like 3 shows. 2. Hello?
What?
If you don't think you can do it.
You can do it.
You can do it!
You can do it. If you don't think you can do it, you can do it. All right. Say good night.
Good night.
Good night, everyone. Be safe.